it looked like a bang, I must say. Everyone who may have watched it, it was very colorful, this push.
Yes, it was.
It was kind of solid, and I did watch it, and I did hear the president of Rise Mzansi speaking, Mr. Songezo Nzizibi. I think, I mean, also there were interviews for Makashule Ghana that I saw. The Rise Mzansi is happening. And I think, like last week, welcome Bex's push. And how are you feeling about yesterday?
Bodically,
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah.
First of all, let me greet the KNR listeners, those who are listening around South Africa, and those who are listening around the globe. Thank you for listening and watching us. So I was still saying, bodically, I'm a bit fatigued, tired, but yeah, in the spirit, I'm revived.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the hope revived this time. You know, it's been hope deferred. But this time, after our manifesto launch, I can safely say South Africa has hope. That's how I feel as a person.
Wow.
And yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to find out the 4,000 capacity of the venue, was it filled?
Our venue was filled to capacity.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
And those were Rise Mzansi supporters, Rise Mzansi volunteers, and Rise Mzansi field organizers. The process was very open. People had to go via a link and send their RSVPs, and they did exactly that. Those who wanted to come after it is closed, they had to watch on TV and via YouTube. Buses came, brought thousands of people.
Wow.
The team worked tirelessly.
Yeah. Look, I mean, the one part for me that, when I looked at, I mean, the venue it was beautiful, it was colorful. But what I wanted to ask first, before we go into, the formal questions, is how did the environment feel for you? And I mean, this was like a culmination of the work that you guys have been doing behind the scenes, and to see that yesterday, how did that feel?
You know, I was reminded of 1994. Actually, the feeling there matched the 2024 is our 1994.
Yeah.
The electricity there,
Yes.
the vibe, the expectation that people had. People were like, guys, we are here. We want to see this thing. The day has come for the People's Manifesto to be unveiled. It was awesome. It was wonderful.
Wow.
There was that vibe, it was crisp. It's something that the mind cannot conceive. And another thing that I could feel was that we are not alone.
Yeah.
We are not alone. If you know what I mean.
Yes.
We were doing the right thing at the right time with the right people. That's how I can sum it up.
Wow. Okay. So Sissy, you guys had the what you call the manifesto yesterday, and just for me, I think partly what you've just shared is the experience that you had. But out of the manifesto that you launched, is there anything for you that kind of the aspect of it that resonates with you personally? And I know everything is actually, like we spoke about last week, it's pointing to the right direction, to people who want to do right things. But what for you, I mean, about it that you feel like, wow?
Lestano spoke, it is one thing for 2, 3, 5 people to sit in an office, to sit in a boardroom and do a desktop research and speculate on what the people of this country need. And then as consultants, come up with that dossier and table it before their own leadership to endorse it. Views of less than 15 people endorsed by the entire board or executive of that political party. And then they bring that thing to the broader masses of this country. And they say, this is what we think you need as South Africans. What stood out for me yesterday was the fact that the book we were holding in our hands was co-created by South Africans, by people whereby we moved from community to community to community, be it in the city, in the township, in villages, wherever. That's the first thing that resonated with me as I, paged that book, seeing familiar faces, faces of people from Kanduli and Mdantsane and Soweto and Tembisa. That's the first thing. The book came alive. So what stood out again is the spirit behind the letter. Because behind the letters of that 68-page manifesto is the spirit of the people of South Africa. It is a woman in one of our policy gatherings telling us that, Rise Mzansi people, I have a problem. I've been going to the maintenance office. I cannot get my baby daddy to maintain my child. Every time I bring the case, he is not there. It gets postponed, and I know he can afford. I feel failed by the justice system of South Africa. It is looking into the manifesto and seeing the issues of people who say, we've been here, we have no water, we have no electricity, and it's been months. So it's a culmination of what the people have said. The spirit behind the letter, it kind of jumped out of the manifesto as Ulida Songezo was going through the manifesto.
Wow.
Speaking from the heart. Because he experienced the people of South Africa. He sat with them, Emi Kukwin. He sat with them in boardrooms. He listened. We listened. So what stood out for me were those things, including the opening speech, Sika National Chairperson, Vuiswa Ramkgopa. Watching her, the tears rolling down her face as she was welcoming us. In that moment, people of South Africa, I said, wow, this is history in the making. It's history.
Wow. And of course, I mean, the work still begins, and you as particularly now as the Eastern Cape convener, I saw a video sometime this week, and these things become painful of abantwana bezamuwelisana umlambo, and that's what it boils down to, and ngabalapha Eastern Cape baye esikolweni. So the manifesto and how do you then plan to actually go to areas like that and say, guys, we can actually create out of this manifesto, if you put us in these things, there will be less of such videos. Now for you, I mean, the work really begins now, because you guys have done the work. Now is to convince people to say, and you are the convener in the Eastern Cape.
The Bible says people perish for lack of knowledge. The strategy that is in my heart about this People's Manifesto is to have the People's Manifesto champions. I'm one person. I may have skills, the passion, the competence, and everything. I may understand what this manifesto says and means. But until the person on the ground, ePhumlani, until the person, kwaChuchu, until the person, eMqanduli, naseMotherwell, is able, in the Rise Mzansi ecosystem to tell someone eTexini, ati yewethu nivile ngo Rise Mzansi, whose priorities are leadership, governance, and implementation, whose priorities are safety and the rule of law, kulento sikuyo ye lawlessness, whose priorities are to create jobs and economy, and whose priorities is to look after the individual, families, and communities, and then also address a climate crisis. Now, the plan, as we have these 5 priorities and some others that are also written in our manifesto, is to work with the team currently, going out from this chair from tomorrow. Because in the Rise ecosystem, we have supporters, we have volunteers, and we have organizers. They work in their communities. So going out of this place is to have those town halls, those workshops on the manifesto itself, is to invest time, because it is not wise to rise now, to rise up and run around in our door-to-door campaigns now that our manifesto is out there, because there are those who will read, and research our very own manifesto to attack our volunteers with it. For instance, already there are those who say, Usongezo said there will be no money for grants. You see, this is someone who did not read the manifesto, but who had something about social grants and is running with that information. So when our volunteers, when Rise Mzansi compatriots run around with their campaigning, they need to know that the national leader said, if we allow a corrupt government to continue to manage the public funds, we will have no SASSA grants because the money will be gone. If we allow a government whose priority is to borrow money and service debt, we will have no money to increase the social grants that we so envisage as Rise Mzansi Social Democrats to increase. If we allow the current system that's managing funds to take 2 billion rand and invest in blue lights to provide security for our own leaders who are coming to our places, needing protection that costs 2 billion, then the priorities are somewhere not reflecting what our communities need. So basically the context was, let's get a government that is going to be accountable. Let's get people, the new leadership, for new answers. We cannot carry on listening to old answers which say the government has no money. Where did the money go? I mean, we know our kids, they expect us at the month end, those who get paid on the 20th, 25th, and the 30th. Your children expects you to do some things at home. And abantwana, abango kama tukebuza kanti mama uyithini imali. So we as South Africans, we need to come to a point whereby we say, kanti urhulumente uyithini imali. You see, kanti urhulumente olawulayo uyithini imali. Lento uhlala usixelela into bangabana asinamali. Singurhulumente kanti niyithini imali. So that's basically the main aim into familiarizing ourselves singabantu baka-Rise Mzansi, such that people hear us and buy into our ideology.
Wow.
So Sisi, in light of the proposed political reforms under priority 2, in particular the constituency-based electoral system, so how will you advocate and implement a system that establishes a direct link between its citizens and their elected representatives?
Okay. Rise Mzansi believes in an, we call it open party list system, or approach. Currently, everybody in parliament, all 400 plus members, they have a constituency all over South Africa. In fact, if we can look at it at a close range, xa sithetha ngo-national, sithetha ngabantu abangena constituency kahle kahle. Because who is national? We have provinces. So who is national? So when we are talking about a national structure, we are talking about a structure that is comprised of provincial structures, which means a bulk of people who must sit in that national structure must come from the provinces, which is not the case currently with our members of parliament. We have people who come all over South Africa who have constituencies as the masses of South Africa. Now, the danger with that is the parliament being less informed about the priorities of the communities and of the provinces. Now, if we have the electoral-based system, which is informed by the constituencies of the provinces, we will have i-proportional representation esuka emaphondweni. Ukuba sithetha ngo-national, let's say, okokuqala inkulu nala parliament isidlela imali nje kwayona. So when we rationalize as Rise Mzansi, when we are in government, we will have to sit down. We will sit down in each province and look into what each province needs as its government, as its local representatives. And we take those people to the national level because their nationality or national level is informed by their local government, local level, and their provincial level. Because when it happens like that, when it says individual, family, community, local, provincial, it means the system gets fed bottom up. The priorities will be a true reflection of Eastern Cape, of Eastern Cape. Akuzuhlala umntu eParlamente aconceive ibridge yase-China afuna uba mayizokwenzwa apha e-Eastern Cape, when in the Eastern Cape ii-priorities zalapha ingamanzi, umzekelo, ihunger, kuyalanjwa e-Eastern Cape. So we will not have these far-fetched things that people dream of and make them their priorities. And it will not be ukuba phaya and legislate, make policies, won't be about anyone's egos and personal targets, but the people. Because as we say, we will increase public participation, which means kengoku, the people, particularly young people, who have skills, talents, and the energy to run with things. We will have young people who have a contribution and a say in how the government is run. So, in a nutshell, the national government will take the priorities, the mandate, and everything from the people. Because as Rise Mzansi, we are saying we are government of the people, for the people, by the people. Sibuyisela ulawulo ebantwini, Lester.
Okay. Since you're mentioning youth, yes, because we've seen with the the normal political parties, like kind of shunning or putting youth on the back burner. So regarding expansion in public participation, as you have mentioned, what specific steps will you take to involve young people in parliament, in parliamentary oversight and accountability processes, ensuring their voices are heard in decision making?
Okay. Rise Mzansi has a mixed bag of leadership. Rise Mzansi isikakhulu une activists. There are few politicians, if any. I think there's two in the entire leadership. Zimbalwa kakhulu. Most yabantu abaku Rise Mzansi, it's activists, and it's young activists. Rise Mzansi embraces young people. Apha ephondweni, one, I am the oldest. Nge-age. Then kuthi xa kufikwa kumava babe khona abanamava ngaphezu kwam. We've got abantu abadala ku Rise Mzansi abafana no Vivi Mpikashe. Those are some of the people. abantu experience nge-activism, abantu abakwaziyo ukuthi politics versus activism. Now, in the midst of that, we've got these young people that are interested in Rise Mzansi, that are part of our ecosystem. And we are doing that intentionally at Rise Mzansi. So to take them to where they belong, that is up izinto zenzeka khona, we are opening opportunities for them already. Kule system ye candidates ibikhona bendibanqoloba oluqolo phila ndithi luqolo, have you applied? Here's the link. I see you in parliament. Obuhlali, oh baby, you know, obuhle. Bayeza bakhona baphakathi kwethu, because those are the, you know, by life of the party. You know, excuse my pardon. They are the life of Rise Mzansi. Mna, as the provincial convener, ngaphandle kwabo, guys, I don't want to lie. Ngekunzinyana. So we intentionally create space, and we will do so. They will champion most of these things as the manifesto. The champions of Rise Mzansi People's Manifesto I'm talking about, it's going to be the young people. My role is to teach, to coach, and to mentor behind the scenes. When they do their activations, because they're the one who are going to do these town halls. Already, scopes town halls up at BCM, since I'm based in BCM, and since about nase Nelson Mandela Bay, nase KSD, apo Rise Mzansi operator corner. They are going to champion the Rise Mzansi political education. They are going to champion the door-to-door campaigning. The ideas are theirs. Now I'm pushing them. I'm just creating a platform for the young people, because that's what leadership is about. Leadership is about replicating and multiplying yourself in others.
The Push, I mean, clearly, as I've seen it, the 2024 is going to be a highly contested election. The work of Mzansi is not just beginning. It's going to be a long road ahead. So one of the things, you being the convener, and of course the integration of the youth and the volunteers and everyone, that's kind of part of what you guys are doing. And I want to digress a little bit, you know, from this, but part of what has happened, we've seen the results, and I'm sure Rise Mzansi is very sort of appreciative of the youth of 2020, matriculants of 2023, and particularly the Eastern Cape, the improvement. You being here in the Eastern Cape, what do you say to these young ones? I know we are about to conclude, but what do you say to the class of 2023? Rise Mzansi surely has a message for them.
You know, there is something that Ubud Ace Ngobo has been trending ngayo, you know, on Facebook, and ngemvume yakhe ndifuna ukubana ndithethe ngale, because it's very important, it's close to my heart. Uthetha ngento ye-TVET colleges. Uthi i-TVET colleges are not for underperformers. They are not for abantu phelelo lithemba okanye bangayazi into abayifunayo. Utsho nike experience yakhe of how after studying a formal degree he had to go to a technical college, and it was only after a technical college education that isakhono sakhe got improved, having a formal degree. Now, my message to the matriculants of 2023 and matriculants of other years is that find your passion, find what you can do, and pursue that. Whilst we embrace all kinds of education, university degrees, technical college diplomas. I'm a diplomate myself. I still need to finish my own social science degree. I still need to pursue that. I abandoned that. So story for another day.
Silapha ngoku.
Bakhulisa abantwana ke kodwa I have results to show for. I have 3 graduates under my belt, you know, because family comes first to me, and ke ndilantanga yeke lwale ngumtshato. Asibuye ke size
Silapha ngoku.
kuma-matriculants. So ndifuna nje ukuthi kubo bantwana bam, seek guidance in terms of your career. Holding a diploma in a field you are equipped, talented and gifted in can open doors for me. I'm a living example. I was trained as a teacher. I started at Khubusana, bastrike ngoba yo andimdala kudala ndihlele lokishini. Ndaqhawula ndoqabele Algoa College of Education. And I finished my diploma in teaching as one of the best students. And I'm one of the best teachers you can find in the whole South Africa. That one I know. And I felt that ndikhuthaza umuntu bethunana. And one of the things esizithethayo ku Rise Mzansi is that sizawuvula colleges again. TVET colleges, colleges zakwa education, nursing colleges, agricultural colleges, because imfundo yethu Eastern Cape must speak to the needs of the Eastern Cape. You know, jikeleza ezilokishini ubona amagqoks amepha. Those are people abane skill, but they just need one college ivule, you know, iba accommodate ababantu banikwe theory. We've got accredited Black engineers and white engineers who are willing to assist. Abacheke as way system. Remember, we're building a nation as Rise Mzansi, regardless of race. Because I mean, that's the answer, Yongoku. You know, iwunzi zethu ze-apartheid zenza singasiboni skill, siboni color. We look at the skin color instead of the skill. So Rise Mzansi, we have this thing, philosophy of attacking skill. Noba sikwespina is skin color. So together as the people of Rise Mzansi, we want to resuscitate imfundo ye colleges so that we produce artisans. We've got honestly up where we can send our artisans to finish their education, having given theory by those who have theory, and then banikwe practice. So guys, the field, you know, is white. We need the harvest is white in terms of what can be done. But we need the political will, and our government has showed us in the past years that no, interest yethu thina ayikho apha kule education yenu bantwana. Fundani nina nibe no 33%. Something, you know, our education doesn't speak to each other. The levels don't speak to each other, but you matriculants don't give up hope. Research, find out, and susgcinisa ndawo. Rather take a gap year, uthengise noba fruity and veg, whilst you are trying to find a career, instead of wasting money usgcinisa kwi-career oyaziyo uba ngabana awuzuyenza nto in the end. So take a calculated risk, even ngoku ubona into uba ngabana i-pass mark ayiyo okanye yiyo, even wena mntu ne-bachelor pass. Oh, kanye kuloo ndawo Lester noSpooky bazali sicela bafunde for izakhono zabo, for interests zabo. Let's guide, let's coach, let's mentor, let's give information, but let's allow our matriculants, our children, to be the decision makers with the guidance we give them.
So I need just your words and conclusion. There are a lot of guys here who are speaking. Just Siasang, Naketo, you know, university education is not the only key to success. You know, basically agreeing with what you're saying. And Obuthen talking about alternatives for students, post-matric, which speaks to what you were saying as well. So Rise Mzansi, I think we congratulate you guys for doing what you did. The launch is out there now. The manifesto is done, and the life on the road now. I'm sure now, as you had said, from tomorrow you are going on the road. So what should, to you as the Eastern Cape convener, what do you have to say to Abantu base Eastern Cape as we conclude?
Bantu base Mpuma Koloni, ninoxanduva. You have a responsibility to choose right in the upcoming elections. There's a lot that is being offered. As Rise Mzansi, go through our manifesto, go to our page, Rise Mzansi page. The manifesto is there, open it, ask for it. We've got the soft copy. Join our Rise Mzansi page on Facebook, follow us on X, follow us on Instagram, ask for the manifesto, search my own page, Pumlangese, on Facebook, and tell us you need the manifesto, because we will come to a place near you with our community engagements and with our door-to-door campaign. Rise Mzansi, together we can build the South Africa we all deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Sis Push. I would like to close before Silesia Landuka and read, which I think is brilliant. Obuhle is talking about. It's not enough that young people are in political spaces. They must be given the platform to actively participate in political decision making, not just as contributors, but also as equals. There's a tendency in politics that seeks to isolate young people in leagues. We don't want that. The political landscape must be structured in a way that youth leaders and are not just considered youth leaders, but leaders. Young people are capable, young people are ready, and young people want to rise and be at the top or be leaders of the country, as it were. Thank you, Obuhle, and thank you, Sis Push, and all the best to Rise Mzansi.
Yes.
As you guys navigate the Eastern Cape and the South Africa at large towards the 2024 election, which I'm sure we're going to hear about the election date very soon. And everyone, like I said also last week, you guys have been the first one to put it out there, and I'm sure people are going to be comparing notes with what you guys have and whatever else is coming. So all the best for 2024.
Thank you so much, Lester Nospoki. Just njena uObuhle, you know, ndiyayithanda le ndayithethayo. That's why Rise Mzansi will never find Rise Mzansi whatever. There's no
okay.
We sit around the table with 20-year-olds and 24-year-olds.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, all the best.
Guys, that's the end of it. We're gonna close this. I mean, samdlalela ingoma ngicingaiba kaloku amagriza ndiyawazi, so one or two songs that I think will speak to Usisi as she leaves us. Womack and Womack.
Oh yes.